Are you looking for a new challenge in Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown? Well, thankfully, the latest update and the latest cleanse of the leaderboards has given everybody a new challenge. Today we're going to explore it, and it's going to be a very familiar challenge to everybody, and it's going to be all around the daily driver class. A very interesting race that I'm pretty sure everybody has abused in games so far. We're of course talking about the very good On the Docks Time Attack. 1.1 mile time attack race in the daily driver category, 500 to 600 RP. But the beautiful thing that has happened here is a cleanse of those leaderboards. Now, unfortunately, recording the video, the online leaderboards were not populating for me. A little bit of a glitch or bug in game as it currently sits. But taking a look at the daily driver class, the cars that I've kind of got here, we pose an opportunity here to try every car and see what kind of times that we can manage to set in this class. Now, to kick things off, we're going to try this one out, and we're going to go from slowest to quickest here in the way that I think this leaderboard is kind of going to play out here. Kicking it off first of all in the rear-wheel drive Seline 500. Now, we know that this thing is a nightmare to handle. It's very leery, the back end is just, yeah, we know what this car is all about. But we're going to kick it off slowest to quickest, and we're going to see if any car can beat the Audi TTRS. Now, we know we're going to get smoked off the line in this thing. We know that this, for a fact, isn't going to beat the TTRS. But we're going to give it a good shot into the first corner. Absolutely no surprise. We're suffering with understeer with the 500, and as we come up the on-ramp to the multi-storey car park, again, trying to get any form of traction down in the 500, it's just going to be a nightmare. But what we can do here is have a lot of fun. The 500 in the rear-wheel drive. Guys, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think this thing is tons of fun just to throw about some of these circuits. It's a nightmare. We know we're not going to be the quickest, but we can enjoy what we have here. How's it going to handle the off-ramp here? Again, I fully expect that back end to slide around like it has been. But for the most part, it's not actually been the worst thing. Yeah, it has. I'm not going to try and gloss over it. It's a nightmare to drive. It's pretty shit, but it's fun. It is a fun little car. To try and set a competitive time here, you know, we're going to struggle, but to beat the base time, yeah, we're doing pretty good here. We've still got 40 seconds left in our back pocket, so we're going to beat the base time that is sitting here with the 500 RS. Even trying to get power down, we can see that the back end is squirming around underneath us. But we do manage to cross the line. We do manage a 1 minute 16, and we do manage to get 227th place on the leaderboard. Again, for some reason, the leaderboard is not populating for me. It's very frustrating. It would have been fantastic visuals for the video if we could have seen that leaderboard. I can confirm I've played a game since, and the leaderboards are now working, so it's just a glitch at the time of recording this one. But a 227th place, a 1 minute 16 is the time to beat in the Abarth 500 Seline Edition. So, going through the roster in the garage there, what kind of car we're going to jump into next? It's going to be another lady rear-wheel drive. It is, of course, the classic Mustang with a 1 minute 16.83 to beat. We're probably going to beat it here. I would expect to beat it in quite good fashion in the Mustang. For me, it feels a better car than the Seline. It's lady once again, though. It is rear-wheel drive, and it's got a ton of power that we're trying to put down here. Even trying to lay the power down coming up the on-ramp there, it is a struggle. And the back end does kick round on us once again. So, yeah, one thing I will say, all the cars are built very, very similarly. They're all using the same tyres, which is slick where we can use slicks. And they're all built towards this circuit particularly. So it is focused all around getting the fastest times possible with the cars that we are using. Just want to quickly touch on the shuddering, the jittering, the frame drop essentially through the video today. I had a little chat with a couple of folk on the Test Drive Discord, and they're experiencing the same thing, and it's all around the latest Windows update. I have since reversed the update to the previous version of Windows, and that has now gone. It's not a game issue, it's a Windows update issue. So if you guys have done the latest Windows update, take yourselves back to the previous version, and this jittering, this frame drop does disappear. I can confirm it. I panicked, I thought it was my computer, but it's not. It's simply, well, it is. It's the Windows update. We've totally missed out that race, however. 1 minute 12.47 that we did manage to set from the previous 1 minute 16. So we do manage to jump all the way up to 142nd place already in the 1967 Mustang there. So a huge improvement that we managed to set. Moving on next to our first, or I believe our only front wheel drive vehicle today, and it will be the Mini Cooper John Cooper Works I was sceptical about this thing. I didn't know how this was going to perform being front wheel drive. I expected a lot of understeer and we didn't get it. The Mini actually felt very good through the early parts of this race. Again, coming up the on-ramp there, this thing just grabbed traction where I didn't expect it to get it, like we can see clipping that inside wall there. Again, just to give full clarity, I only done one run for each car to keep it as clean and clear as I possibly could do. So yeah, there's probably time left on the table here, braking far too early for the left-hander for the off-ramp. So there's definitely time left on the table there, but already this Mini feels 10 times better than the two rear-wheel drive cars that we've already used. Coming out of the underground there, and again that thing just snaps the front end round, so there is a ton of grip with the John Cooper Works. In through the last left-hander, we come in there a little bit hot. So again, I believe there's maybe up towards 4, maybe even 5 seconds sitting on the table there. Maybe that's a bit ambitious, but there's a lot of time left on the table with the John Cooper Works. What kind of time did we manage to set though? That one felt a hell of a lot quicker though. We managed a 1:05, so we trim off, what was that, 7 seconds up from what we were with the Mustang up to 32nd place. We trimmed a hell of a lot of time off of the John Cooper Works there, and I believe we've left a few seconds on the table there as well, so the chances are that GP Mini would be a hell of a lot quicker up there. And I underestimated that car and I've put it ahead of the Alpine A110 back into another rear wheel drive. This of course was the first vehicle I had in this game. I think I've underestimated that John Cooper Works. I thought it was going to be a lot slower than what it was. I thought it was going to suffer with a lot more understeer than what it did. The Alpine here, yeah, the back end maybe not as stable as I would want it to be, but we're going to push forward. We're going to set that time and see what kind of time the Alpine can have with us. We can see up in the distance, of course, the previous time I did set in the obnoxiously green Audi TTRS is very much up the road from us. So we're not going to get close to that TT in the Alpine there. On the off-ramp, again, the back end stepping out for us. Round the left-hander, it felt very stable as we do go through the little warehouse here. Round that left-hander, that's probably the best we have got round that left-hander so far in this Alpine A110. Far better than anything else we have touched. Unfortunately, losing the back end coming around the left-hander there. So again, yes, definitely a few seconds left on the table here with the Alpine, much like we did with the John Cooper Works. The Mini felt quicker. It truly felt quicker than what we have just set here with the Alpine. Time will tell. What kind of time have we managed on the leaderboard? A 1:05.42. That's heartbreaking. 1:05.22 we just set in the Mini. 0.2 of a second of a difference around that circuit, where both of those times I believe there's time left on the table. I think if we concentrated more with that John Cooper Works Mini, we would have been a hell of a lot quicker. So the Alpine didn't improve. What about the 370Z though? Can the 370Z improve on the Alpine? Can it improve on the Mini John Cooper Works? Now we've used this a few times. We of course bought this purposely for the Japanese live weekly event, and this is a car I totally overlooked, especially at the start of the game. I don't like how these cars sound in game. I don't feel they're representative of the real life model. But when we actually used this in the live weekly event, the 370Z felt absolutely fantastic. So it's only right we use it on the daily driver test that we're doing right here today. Getting all the way through this, we're already halfway through this little sprint that we've got here, the time attack, on through the down ramp there. Handled it pretty good. Round the left-hander again, handled that one pretty good. How does it handle coming through the warehouse? And again, a hell of a lot more stable than a lot of cars we have used, on par, in my opinion, with the Alpine. Can it make the same mistake that the Alpine made? No, it doesn't. The back end does step out a little bit there, but a lot more stable coming around these left-handers than what the Alpine was. This does feel a quicker time than what we have set so far. What kind of time can we cross the line with in the 370Z? Well, we managed to do a 1:04.39. We do improve from our 1:05.22. I had to check the list I had there. So we've actually jumped up to 27th place. What's that? An increase of 5 places from the Mini John Cooper Works. Then we come to the interesting vehicles. First of all, the Lancia Delta Integrale. I love this car. In real life, I love it in game. The one issue we do have, however, there's no slick tyre option for this one. I wanted to keep the cars as well balanced as possible, but the Delta Integrale doesn't have a slick tyre option, and that falls to its detriment through the early turns here. This thing suffers so badly with understeer. So as much as I want to say that this one is the true rival, the true candidate to take the time from the TTRS, unfortunately it is not going to be the case. The understeer that this thing suffers is just far too much for my driving abilities, especially here. We're not probably, well, I guarantee we're not going to improve on the TTRS time. We can see that original time we did set many months ago off in the distance. The Delta Integrale not going to improve there, but can we beat the previous times that we did set in other vehicles? This thing not as stable through the circuit, of course it's not going to be. We've not got these slick tyres like every other car has had, but it should be quicker. We know the Delta Integrale is very fast in game, managing that last left-hander a lot better than many other cars so far. Can we improve? Can we beat the times we've set in the 370Z especially? That's the quickest time we've got on the leaderboard so far. A 1 minute 4.74 is the time we managed, and it's very close, but it is unfortunately slower than the time that we did set in the 370Z, so maybe not shining the best of lights on the Delta Integrale, but like I mentioned in those other cars, I do think there was time left on the leaderboard. Then it all comes down to the big dog, the meta. The big dog of the category, the Audi TTRS, is by far the most dominant vehicle in the daily driver category, so we know we're not beating the previous time set in other vehicles, but can we set our previous TTRS time? We've of course spent many months with this car now. We've refined the tune, and already in the early parts of this race we have smoked our previous TTRS, but coming up the off ramp there, well, that TT did catch up on us in our previous time, but as we do get the power laid down, our newly revised tune on the TTRS is blasting away from our previous build onto the off ramp here. Well, we're outbraking ourselves there, and our previous time did catch up, but we are still crucially ahead of our road time. This is fantastic to see just how close these times are going to be. Of course, the main target here will be setting a sub 1 minute time around the docks. Last couple of corners here, first left-hander. I feel like there's a second or so left on the board there. We could have been a hell of a lot quicker there. Around the last left-hander, down the back straight. Our road time is all over the back end of us, but crucially, we've got out of that corner very fast indeed, and we have managed to stretch away. And of course we can confirm we have set a new time, but what will that time be? 59.39. I feel like we can be quicker, but with a 59.39 we do beat our previous fastest lap around the docks, and we do get ourselves up to 7th place on that leaderboard. I think there is more time left there. A couple of corners we could have carried some more speed, but once again we have proven the theory. The Audi TTRS is unbeatable around the docks, pretty much unbeatable in the daily driver category, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Take the time, enjoy while we understeer there on the wet surface. Take the time and enjoy what we've got in this game. These leaderboards have been reset, those cheating times have all gone. Go and climb the leaderboards, get yourself with some fantastic lap times. It was probably obvious coming into today's video that nothing was going to touch the time set with the TTRS. This thing is an absolute beast, it's a monster, and it's untouchable in this category. We've proven that once again around the docks. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, guys. Smash up the like button, subscribe, tap on the bell, all the usual good stuff, and stay tuned for more updates on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown.